Hello, scholars, and welcome to week 5 of POL452 Organizational Theory and Design. We're halfway through this course. We're starting on the second half. So I hope that the concepts are starting to make sense. I hope that you're starting to see some sort of relationship between your organization and the concepts that we've been talking about. And I hope that we are still able to maintain focus with this good footing and grounding below us as we move forward towards this conclusion of this class, and really make these concepts become concrete and something that we can identify with, understand, and hopefully even operationalize and kind of see how these would actually work within our organizations. So, like always, we're going to review what we got going this week and then focus particularly on our deliverables, our assignments that we have this week. So, if we look at just an overall agenda, we have our lecture is going to be the dynamics of change. And this is that concept that kind of builds upon our last few weeks. I hopefully by this point in our readings and in maybe even in reflection to what we've been doing, we realize that thinking of change, uh, conceptualizing change, even rationalizing change is sometimes the easy part. Implementing it and getting people to buy in and actually utilize your change, that's where the very difficult part becomes. And don't think that it's difficult for us as practitioners. It's difficult in general. Remember how we talked about these are billion-dollar industries that go and they make a living by just trying to create and implement change in large organizations. If it was an easy concept that do step one, do step two, and step three, you have a magical organization that runs and operates effectively and efficiently. Well, then we would never be talking about such topics. But that's why this is such a difficult concept, difficult in implementing, but then so rewarding when you are able to transform or to create an organization that is more effective or more dynamic. And that's what we're going to be talking about this week, is actually moving forward with the dynamics of change. So we have a lecture. I put some. There's an introduction into week 5 that we can read over, but we have our 2 readings. We have our chapter 6 and we have our chapter 13 in our managing organizational behaviors in our Sims book, and like I said, chapter 6 in our implementing organizational change, our Spectre book. We have a case study this week that we're going to be talking about. I always like the case studies because that gives you an opportunity to kind of read a real life practitioner and then get back to me with your thoughts and concepts. We have a journal entry, and remember, journal entries are you speaking directly to me. And so I like those especially because it's your opinion. It's not what you think you should be telling me. It's just your opinion, and I always look forward to those. And then we have our quiz. And so I hope all of you like the fact that there is no discussion boards, and that means everything here is due on day 7. So it gives you a couple extra days to get your deadlines in. So hopefully that will help. So like I said, we had our introduction. I've got there something. We have a couple PowerPoints that I've put in here. We have out of the Spectre text, we have that chapter 6 and that chapter 13 out of the managing organizational behavior of the Sims text. So I have both those for you. So let's jump forward into the deliverables, our assignments this week. And like I said, our first case study, it's an interesting one. If you were to look at page 147 in the Implementing Organizational Change, the Spectre text, there's a case study on a hospital, I believe it is. I think they call it Springfield General, a fictitious name that they've given to a hospital. And they have a problem that they've identified, and they've created a solution for it. And on page 147, there's some case discussions, and I want you to prepare and submit your answers to the 3 questions on that of that case discussion. And once again, your thoughts utilizing the readings and the theories and the concepts that we've used for the last 4 weeks. But also some of your insight or maybe some reflection on your organization. And especially on that third question. In the third question, it references if informational technology, if IT, could have been any benefit to Springfield General. And IT is always kind of a slippery slope when it comes to like a nonprofit, like the hospital, like the General Spring or the Springfield General, or for like myself and a lot of us that work in the public sector. We realize that our organizations can't invest a huge lot of money or a large amount of money in new technology. We need a way to ensure that it's tried and it's sound and it is technology that we know is going to work, that it isn't the latest and greatest and newest implementation, that it's something that we know will work and that we know we can get a service life out of. And because of that, a lot of times we think that technology is the solution to everything because technology is somewhat the solution to a lot of our problems in our regular life. So I want to hear your reflections on that. If you think that if technology would be the solution, and really think of it as that nonprofit public entity that doesn't have the ability to potentially utilize the latest and greatest technology that's out there. So I really look forward to that. Once again, Sunday by midnight. And what do I got here? Should be in a written essay format and a minimum of 300 words. So make it look like a nice essay for me. Build with an intro, answer the three questions, and then give me a conclusion, and give it to me in 300 words. So there we go. Our second assignment this week is going to be our journal entry. And what I have here it's kind of an open, it kind of builds upon the last couple weeks. And I always find that these are fascinating for me because I get to hear about your organizations and I can reflect on your organizations compared to the organizations that I have worked in. So I always find that these to be real interesting, and it also builds upon a lot of the stuff that we've talked about the last few weeks. So what I want to know is, what are the rituals of your organizations? What are the expected unwritten rules of behavior? What are the taboo behaviors of your organization? And how does knowing these norms impact your performance and your ability to be effective? So I know that there's maybe three questions in there, and maybe they don't all apply, or one that really applies that you want to talk about. Like for me, this one here: what are the expected unwritten rules of behavior? For me, working in public safety for so many years, there was a an unwritten there were unwritten rules that everybody adhered to. Stuff as simple as what time, our day started at 7:30, but you better get there at 7. That was like an unwritten rule. And if you got there at 7, you fit into the norm. And if you got there at 7:30, man, you kind of stood out as not being a team player or someone um, that was wanting to be a part of the organization or to add to the organization. So that's just an example. So I could write on several examples in my professional life of unwritten rules of behavior. But then there might be some taboo behaviors, or there might be some rituals of your organization. So be creative. Remember, this is your organization. And I know for some of you, um, these questions are difficult because this whole course is geared upon you working in some sort of organization. So once again, reflect upon your existing organization, a previous organization. Make it work for me. And if you can answer all three of the questions, great. If you can only answer one or two, but you make it a really good contest-based submission, and it's 300 words, and you can really get the concepts across. I'm good with that this week. I just want to hear, how do these little kind of caveats of your organization, these little things that make it kind of particular. I want to hear about those. And remember, if you identify these social norms of your organization, you've really made a leap forward to know that there is maybe the expectations, there's the written policies, there's our standard operating procedures, and then there's also the social norms. And some of these are formal and informal. And if we really have identified that there's all these different entities at work, some which are unwritten, some which are taboo, some are the rituals of the organization, you really identify that. And if you can identify that as a manager, that's just particularly um, beneficial, because now you're really seeing at what is the social norms of your organization, not just the what's maybe on paper, what are your SOPs say, what your operating mission says, but what actually is happening on the floor and with the cogs of the wheels that are turning. So I really look forward to hearing on that. And then finally, we have quiz 5. And once again, um, short answer, true, false, and a short essay question, multiple choice. Once again, I can tell that some of you are doing your reading because you are very successful in your quizzes. And then when I see some of you have some trouble on your quizzes, I can only imagine that you're maybe not quite being so diligent on your reading. So do your reading this week, review your PowerPoints, and I'm looking forward to those case studies, those journal, and the quiz. And as always, I think by week 5 of courses, normally everybody's kind of they're in the sync. You understand my expectations, I understand your expectations. I think that there's a pretty good flow when it comes to these courses. So I always live by the philosophy that if I'm not hearing from you, things are going good. You know, that's kind of a basic organizational philosophy for many organizations. That if there's no issues and I'm not hearing from you, I expect things are going well. So if there are any issues, I don't want any surprises. So if there's any issues with this or any of the other assignments that we have, always get a hold of me as soon as possible. But as a whole, we're doing excellent in this course. I hope we're learning some stuff, and I'm looking forward to reading your assignments here on week 5. So, everyone, please have a blessed week. I'll be thinking about you and look forward to hearing any of your potential questions, and especially answering or reading through all your assignments this week. So, take care and God bless.